Hi everyone, Randy Bocook here, coming at you live with Kristi Cox for our interview to introduce the candidates for the open vacant seat left by the late great Johnny Murphy. The special elections on March 19th. We're interviewing Kristi Cox. Kristi, thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of this. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been living in Richmond Hill now for the past 25 years. I'm married to Alan, who works for the Board of Education. We have 5 daughters. Unfortunately, 2 of those are in heaven now. For the past almost 7 years, I've been working as area director for the United Way of the Coastal Empire in Bryan County. So I've been very involved with our community. In the past, I was a juvenile probation officer, served as program coordinator at the March of Dimes, which was reflecting on birth defects, and had been a birth mother caseworker for Covenant Care Services, which is an adoption agency.
Kristi, you're going for a seat opened up by the death of the late great Johnny Murphy in December. He was such a lion in this community and really cared about the city and where it was going, and I've known him for years. I know you have too. Tell us what you think about filling that seat, and how could you carry on the legacy of what he started with Richmond Hill?
Well, I think those are really big shoes to fill, first of all, as we all know. And when we were thinking about Johnny Murphy and what he's done for our city, not only with the development, but I had learned that he also was one of the ones that chartered the Chamber of Commerce. He also created the Richmond Hill, Georgia Live and Reflections magazine, which has been instrumental in getting information to our community over the last few years. And so everybody knows about the development part of that and what he brought to. So what I want to do is actually just share a little bit of information about him as a man and his character. Because a couple years ago when Hurricane Matthew came through, our house flooded. And we also had major foundation issues to about a third of the house. And when I reached out to him about the issue, because we were told we needed to let the house sit for a while just to ensure that it would not collapse again. And when I reached out to Johnny Murphy, he actually met myself as well as some other community members and walked that entire canal with us, educating us on the water issue, the canal issue, how things flow, etc. And then during the following hurricane, when I was concerned about whether or not we would flood again, and I had evacuated, he actually was texting me. He had taken videos of my house to show me and to just assure me that my house was okay and had not had problems again. And I think that speaks to the character, because here I was, really in his world, a nobody. I had nothing to offer him that he could gain from. I lived in the bottom. Working for a nonprofit, Alan working for the school system, and he showed me just as much respect and concern as he probably did the people that came from the business world.
I know she said the bottom, not the bottom, so you must be local.
I am local.
No, Mayor Russ Carpenter and Tara Broniak and Jan Bass are very involved in the city and these events. I mean, Tara just posted the other day about the senior citizen playing bingo with them, and just a wonderful post, and her involvement and Russ Carpenter being just a very proactive mayor, something that I'm super proud of as a resident of this city. He was in the front of the Dr. Martin Luther King Day Parade, arm in arm with the community leaders. All the seafood festivals, Spring Fling provided or put on by the local fire department. He's frontline. These council members and the mayor are very involved in events in our city. Would you do the same thing if you were elected?
I've been doing that for the past at least 21 years since I've had kids in the school system. I've served as PTSO president, vice president, treasurer, served on school councils, currently serve on the Superintendent's Advisory Council and the Georgia Department of Education Special Needs Advisory Council. But through my job with United Way, I've already been involved with all the different community events and activities. I was actually at the senior center that day that Tara was there doing the bingo. We've had a partnership with them for years. And so I'm going to continue to do that regardless of what this election brings.
Big issue, the combined services, or there's a push to talk about a combined issues of fire services with the county and the city. I know some local city firefighters I've talked to are against it because of the city's rating being higher than the county, and it would level that out some. Also, the identity that the city has done with some of the community events, the Spring Fling, and being very involved in the community. They feel like that would be lost a little bit in the combination of the two departments. What's your take on that, and what do you think should happen?
I do have a personal opinion on consolidation, just based on something that had occurred in another county when I lived there. However, I think that it's too early to really give an educated opinion on that because my understanding is the discussions have just started happening. There's no data, there's no research that's been presented. My biggest issue is going to be the residents of Richmond Hill being taken care of and being provided the highest quality of safety, and from a financial perspective, what does that look like?
We have some dynamic city employees here. The chief of police is one of the best people I know on the planet. The city manager, the planning and zoning, the city workers, from the person cutting the grass to planning and zoning. Have you talked to them about some of their concerns? Because they're on the front lines of what's going on. They see the battles every day. They can be an incredible steering committee to where this city needs to go. Have you reached out to any of them about where we need to go and the changes we need to make?
I actually had already reached out to them a couple weeks ago, all except planning and zoning. I have not talked to them yet, but I reached out and I actually said that once I'm elected, I would like to meet with not only leadership, but employees as well. Because like you just said, the first person that people see when they walk into the city, the receptionist there sitting at the desk, is just as valuable as the city administrator. Yep. And so I think it's important to get input from all the employees, not just leadership.
We had a little bit of I would say controversy, or a little bit of a surprise when the city annexed a large tract of land into the city limits, and you have some pushback on that. And you also have a lot of people that's really excited about where we're going and calling the new Belfast Road the Pooler Parkway of Richmond Hill with the new exit coming there. Would you have approved that annexation, and what's your thoughts on the growth for Richmond Hill?
Okay, so I am not a politician. I don't have politics in my background. I've been United Way director. So I've been out feeding people. I've been getting people out of their cars when they've been living in cars with their children, putting them in hotels. I don't know enough about the annexation and what information was presented to know whether I would have voted for that or not. I just don't think it's fair for me to even give an educated opinion because I don't have enough information.
Yeah. Kristi, what do you see as some of the main issues or focus that you want to implement in that position if you're elected for the city? Where do you see the needs right now for the city in Richmond Hill and the growth?
I think my top three concerns are growth, infrastructure, and public safety.
Okay.
I think that we need to come to the table, work as a team, examine and investigate all the information, the data that's presented, and we need to make the best decisions for the residents. That's what we're here. Every resident needs to have a voice in this, and I want to be that voice for the people that are not currently sitting at the table.
Kristi, in closing, tell us why we should vote for you, and are you committed to that seat and that position to make Richmond Hill a better place?
I'm open-minded. I'm honest. I'm not a politician. I would be coming to the table really just to make a difference. For the past 7 years, I've been impacting lives across this community, and I want to continue to build upon that. I think that everyone deserves to have the best quality of life that's possible, and life is priceless, as we've recently learned, and my job would be to be that voice for everybody and to help make this the best place that provides the best quality of life for each person.
Kristi, I would like to thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristi Cox is running for the open seat on March 19th for City Council. Thank you very much for your time and coming out here for meeting the candidates today. And thank you. Go out and vote on March 19th. Hi, everyone. Randy Bocook here. I want to thank all of you for watching these interviews. I want to thank the candidates for coming out and giving us their time to tell who they are and what they're about. We have a special city here in Richmond Hill, and we can't really take it for granted, and we have to be careful on the persons or the people we put in charge of the city. We want to make sure that they're the best fit for our city. I hope these interviews will help you make a decision on who you think should hold that open seat for City Council. Thank you for letting us come into your house, watch these interviews for the candidates, get out and vote on the 19th of March, and let's make sure that Richmond Hill is the great city that we have right now and will continue to be. Thank you.